Ready when you
Good to go?
Yeah,
Cool.
good to go.
So, hello everybody. My name is Daniel. I go to school at UGA, and today we're going to talk about something that means a whole lot to me. So, I was told earlier that y'all are kind of a pioneer class. Is that what I was told, right? Y'all are kind of like the outdoors and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, today you're going to be trained in something super cool. You're going to be the first class ever to be a ESP Beginner Animal Ambassador trainee. So you're the first group ever to be certified in it. It's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty dang big deal. So today we're going to walk you through a couple different things and make sure you're all ready to go with able to handle certain animals under certain conditions. But before we get started, we need to figure out what an animal ambassador is. So what do you think an animal ambassador is? If I'm going to teach you about an animal and I'm bringing out a live animal, what do you think that is? What's an example? Maybe like a snake. Have y'all ever seen somebody show you a snake before? Seen a snake? Yeah, sometimes they get a little creepy with some snakes. Well, a lot of people think of snakes. A lot of people think of turtles. A lot of people think of sometimes maybe a fish or a bird. Those are pretty cool, right? So those are really cool. But let's talk a little bit about what makes an animal ambassador different from like a pet. So when you go out to teach, which what we're going to do is teach you how to teach today with an animal, we want to be able to figure out between what's a pet and what's an animal ambassador. So what is a pet? What do you think a common pet is? Anybody have a dog in here?
Dog.
Yeah, we got 2 dogs at our house. Dogs are cool. What about any cat people? Anybody got some cats? Yeah, cats. So, cats are cool. There's people that have snakes. But the cool thing about an animal ambassador is animal ambassadors are different from pets. So, most of the time when you have a pet, it's just purely for fun. It's a lot of fun to have one. You get to feed it and take care of it. But animal ambassadors have a job. So they have this job to go out and teach. So they become your partner. So you have your partner, and they can be similar to a pet, but they have their job. So they get to work with you, and a lot of times when you go to zoos and places like that, they'll bring out an animal. So these animals can be snakes, birds, alligators, all sorts of cool stuff. And they can be from different backgrounds too. They can be caught in the wild, and they might have been injured and brought into the site for rehabilitation, which is pretty cool. But we have a special guest with us today who kind of falls into that role. So this animal, get her out of her enclosure. Does anybody have any ideas what this might be? See what it is?
Nick's going to check that out.
It's kind of camouflage. It's right here. So our special guest today, brush you off real quick, is Sharon. So this is Sharon. So it's really cool. So since I got her out, let's go over a couple little rules real quick. So Sharon is really, really cool. Thank you.
Nice, Chris.
So Sharon is really, really cool. She's an eastern box turtle. And she has a couple rules that we need to go over before we do anything. So the first thing is, if you're uncomfortable by Sharon, is anybody kind of nervous about round turtles? If you are, it's totally cool. Just take your hands and set them up under your bottoms just like this, and that just shows me that you're maybe a little nervous around it. If you want to touch Sharon in a second, you can hold up 2 fingers in front of you just like you're in Scouts, and that shows me that you want to touch Sharon. So, yeah, you don't have to. I won't make you touch Sharon. She's pretty cool, though. So Sharon has a little bit of a story with her, and she's the perfect example of what an animal ambassador is. So, yes. Oh, yeah, it's a good one. Well, it's kind of sad, but at the end, so another important thing about Sharon is she doesn't really like loud noises. She's been in her dark little box all day. I just woke her up from her nap, so we got to be real quiet starting off. So Sharon had an accident when she was a young turtle. She wound up running into having an incident with a lawnmower, and it wound up hurting her front left leg. You can see it right there. So you'll see her front left leg. She's actually missing her front left leg, which is pretty crazy, right? So she didn't let this thing impact her at all. She found a job, and she is working hard right now as an animal ambassador. So she gets to travel around with like Dr. Furman and students like me and Chris and teach people about the outdoors. So when you become an animal ambassador, like at the end of this class, you'll be able to show me how to hold a turtle correctly. So how many of y'all like to eat hamburgers? Anybody? I love to eat hamburgers. So the first thing I'm going to teach y'all is how to hold a turtle properly. So this turtle, like I said, is an eastern box turtle, and they don't really run around a lot, but the easiest way to think of how to hold an eastern box turtle is like a hamburger. So you're going to take one hand, put your thumb on top and just on the bottom, and use the other hand the exact same way, right that way, and now all you have to do is just hold them just like this. So it's really cool. Everybody got that? So what we'll do is I'm going to walk Sharon around. You can hold up your two fingers like we went over earlier, and you're going to touch the back of her shell. If everybody will look this way. See where my thumb's at? You're going to take two fingers and pet right behind my thumb. Sound good? Cool. We want to make sure we're not petting her in the head, because I don't like to get pet in the head sometimes. So we're going to pet her, we're going to touch her on the back side, and she'll be good to go. So if you want to touch her, hold up two fingers. Cool. Good job. Awesome job. Nice, good job. There you go. Nice. So their shell is made out of the same stuff your fingernails are made out of. It's just a lot harder, which is pretty cool. Good job. Nice. Congratulations. Awesome job. Anybody else wants to touch it? I'll share it.
Somebody back there. Yeah. I think that lady back there. Yeah, Daniel.
Cool. Hey, Chris, will you do me a favor and walk around with some hand sanitizer?
Oh,
right
thanks.
there, right there.
Good stuff. Maybe Thomas would too.
Cool.
Thomas, you gonna touch her? Do you want to touch her? Yeah, Thomas will touch. Yeah, sure. Oh, I thought you said no or you said yes? Oh, here he goes. Yeah, oh yeah. I knew you could do it.
Cool. All right, so y'all have all passed the first test in touching Sharon. So let's say goodbye to Sharon, and then we'll go over. We're going to pass around a shell, and I'm going to let you practice a little bit on how to hold one like a hamburger. Sound good?
All
so
right.
Wave bye to Sharon.
Bye, Sharon.
Go back in there and take your little nap. There you go. All right. So we're going to actually pass around two items at once, so I can kind of watch y'all. So this is my little friend right here, and he's going to help me fill in for Sharon because she's got to go back to sleep. And then we have an actual eastern box turtle shell. So this is an actual eastern box turtle shell, and we're going to pass it around. It doesn't have a bottom, but that's okay. So you're just going to kind of practice holding just like that. So remember, we're going to do hamburgers. I'm getting hungry for supper. So let's start over here. So if you will do me a favor and show everybody how to hold. So you're going to take one hand. There you go. You're good. And then the other hand's going to go just like that. Good job. There you go. That's
nice.
How you hamburger.
Yeah, good. Look at that.
Would you like to show everybody?
You got it. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to graduate you up to a real turtle shell. So let's see. Hold that one the same way, just like a hamburger. You got to work your way up.
That's right.
Yeah, good job. Two hands. Good job. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good,
all right.
Nick.
Who's next? Would you like to go next?
Bogey.
Yeah. All right. Let's start off with my friend here. Excellent work. You're doing good. There you go. Good job. Two hands. Excellent form right there. Excellent form.
All right.
Oh, we got some professionals in here. And then we'll swap out for this one. You're good. Good thing it's just a shell.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to be. Yeah, I'll come right to you. See how that one feels? It's a little bit different. It's normally not white, but that's because all its scoops fell off, which is kind of cool. It's just like a big old bone. Good job. Thank you.
Excellent.
Right.
Woo!
Next. Who wants to go? You want to go? All right. Very proud of you. So hold it like a hamburger. Be real gentle. We're going to practice being gentle. Good job. Woo! That's good. Excellent work right there. Let's try the next one. Real turtle shell. Oh, you were. Woo, I like that. You've been studying, haven't you? Yeah. All right, ready? Ready? There you go. Good job. Excellent work.
All right.
Let's try the real turtle shell. Oh, nice. Good job. No. All right, you ready? Oh, there we go. See, y'all doing great.
That's it. That's it. Just like the hamburger. That's
y'all
good.
Y'all doing great. I'm proud of y'all. Let's try that one again. Excellent form. Oh, my goodness. Y'all are doing amazing. All right, it's your turn. There you go. 2 hands just like a hamburger. Nice. We'll make sure everybody's at it, and I'll let you hold it. Is that cool? I'll let you hold on to him for the rest of the class.
You want to try to hold the shell, okay?
The shell? It feels a little bit different. It's definitely not as soft.
Be gentle.
Good job. All right.
Good.
You want to try?
Thomas.
Everybody else did it? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Excuse me.
You're not going
You're good. You're doing great.
Old things.
Just like a hamburger.
He's got it. He's giving it a hug there.
Old
So we gotta be gentle with this one. Excellent work.
Nice job. Good
All right.
Y'all have passed the first test. Cool. So now y'all know how to hold a turtle. So, to refresh, what kind of food do we hold a turtle like? Hamburger.
There you go.
Somebody's listening. So we're going to hold them like a hamburger. Be very gentle with them. And another thing to consider is you want to hold them real close to the ground. So we're playing around with our 2 stand-in, our little friends there. We want to make sure you're always holding them real close to the ground. So now what we're going to do is our second step is we're going to design the ultimate animal. So, animal ambassador. So I'm going to let y'all draw for a couple minutes. I'm going to see if y'all can draw a snake, or a turtle, a fish, or a bird, and you are designing your animal ambassador that you want to teach about. Because if you can hold them, now you have to teach about them, right? Right. So, let's grab some paper and some markers.
What you need?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Cool.
Let me sit this down. I'll help you.
And then, there we go. So you're drawing a snake, a turtle, a bird. Yeah. Cool. I didn't forget about you over here. So a snake, a turtle, a bird, or a fish. Red? Oh, black. All right.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Get a bug nose.
You want to draw the coolest animal you can think of.
Oh, any animal?
A snake, a bird.
Alright, draw.
Yeah, just about any animal. It's whatever you feel like. We can work with just about any animal out there. As long as you can teach about it.
Right here.
You can do so too. You said B. You said B. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like this. That's a good fish.
What's that?
Can you draw something? Can you be in the video, please? Draw Oh, beautiful. Yes, come in. One class. Where are you going?
I like that.
What do you say?
That's great.
That's great. That's great.
Some Da Vinci's in there.
Whoa.
Do you want to hold it? Yeah, maybe there's something to like lean on.
Dr. Perkins, can you help me draw on the board?
Would you want to draw on the board?
You come up with me.
Or would it be better to draw?
You come up here and draw on the board?
Look, I'm gonna save your drawing right here. I'm gonna go with that. Want me to walk with you? Yeah, let's walk. Oh, you gotta get your walk.
What go? What go?
Where? I guess we'll go around. Thomas here. Okay, now.
These are the drawing board. Come on up here. You're doing great. Let me borrow this marker from you.
Yeah.
And then we'll swap it with this one.
Oh my God.
And you're going to help us draw up front.
All right, here we
Got
go.
about a minute left. Once Thomas is done. I'm right here with you.
Help.
I'm right here. You want no. Chris, come on. Yeah, come on, Chris. All right. What you need? You want a chair to sit on while you're there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you want this one? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You want to draw up front? What color you want? Which one? Purple? Oh, that's good. Oh, Chris? Yeah.
He's got the good color.
All right, Tom. You want to see right behind you? Nope. All right, let's see what you can draw.
Alright, Thomas. You got it.
All right, guys, about 30 seconds. Oh, now that's cool.
There he goes.
You're going awesome. You're running.
Nice.
Ooh!
He's like the teacher up
What
there.
did you name your snake?
Blue? You want blue? Blue's a good color, too.
Those are some great drawings.
What you want to draw?
You don't want to draw anyone? Come on. There. There you go.
All right, guys. 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent job.
All right.
Well, y'all did a great job drawing. So the next step in our certification class is, and we're good, is to tell your friend about your drawing. So the good thing about teaching is you need to teach somebody about your animal ambassador. So now, look to the person to your left or right, and now you are going to tell them about your amazing animal that you just drew.
Hey, Thomas.
About the colors, what it does, what it might eat, where it lives, all that good stuff. Just tell them about it. Just talk like they're your friend. So you have about 1 minute to tell, and then we'll swap. All right, ready, go.
Here we go. What's next going on over here?
It's a good looking fish. I'd probably eat it. That's a good eating. Good job, Nick.
Stop.
All right.
Where's the fish feed? Is he eating it?
Excellent work. Good looking snake right
Hey,
there. Tell me about your snake. Yeah, what's up? Okay, okay.
What is it like to do?
Yeah, what's up?
You gonna show him?
Tell me about your drawing. What did you draw?
Jack,
Sit. Okay, I'll sit. Tell me about it.
Oh, you gotta finish it?
Tell us about your drawing.
Finish drawing. That's okay.
No.
What animal is it?
No,
What? Tell me about it.
That's
Tell me about your fish.
How did snakes
What?
move?
What is it? You tell me about your fish? What color is it?
What do they eat? What do they eat?
You have it?
What is it? Tell them what you drew. That's a good color for your fish.
Cool. Well, this is a great drawing, Thomas.
All right.
All right. So, does everybody explain their drawing to their friend?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Good job. Well, that is the second step. So, we talked about how to hold a turtle. We've talked about we haven't talked about it yet. Why is it important to teach people about animals? Does anybody know?
So they can know what kind of animal they're dealing with?
Exactly. So sometimes people haven't even seen this animal, and they're like, all right, tell me about it. It's pretty cool to explain stuff, right? As teachers, right? You'll have a pretty good time explaining to your friends. So it's pretty cool. So it's really exciting to be able to tell people about your animal. It's also important because sometimes these animals are misunderstood. So sometimes, people think snakes are all bad sometimes, right? It's okay sometimes. But snakes are actually really important to humans because they eat the rats and all these gross stuff that nobody else wants to deal with. So they're really important to teach about stuff like that. With our friend that we had here earlier today, you were able to teach about a cool story that she had. We like stories, especially when you're teaching. So you might want to talk about that. But it's always cool to be able to talk, and then you have a partner with you the whole time. So is anybody scared about talking in front of crowds sometimes?
I'm a little shy.
I'm a little shy too. So
sure.
I'm a little nervous right now. But the cool thing was when I had Sharon up here, I was a little anxious. But when I had Sharon, my partner up here, she was helping take some of the scared feelings away from me, which is really cool.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. So now let's go ahead. And we are going to, well, first of all, does anybody have any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir? No questions? It can be about anything. Cool. Well, now what we're going to do is we are going to award you the certificate in becoming the first ever ESP Beginner Environmental Ambassadors. So, it's a pretty big deal. So, there are a couple rules, though, with becoming an ESP Beginner Environmental Ambassador. And we'll go over this in a second, but I'll go ahead and read out some of these rules, and then we'll have you recite them, and then we'll swear you in, and then it'll become official. Sound cool? Awesome. So, the first thing an environmental ambassador should do is always respect nature, animals, and people. Can everybody do that?
Yes,
So you always want to show respect to people. They're always friends with you. The second thing is educate others on why our environment is important. And should be cared for, excuse me. Why is the environment important? It's where we live, right? It's our home. It's where other animals live. So it's pretty cool, and we want to make sure we're taking care of that. Number 3 is only use my animal handling skills under the direct supervision of an advanced environmental ambassador. So that's like me and Dr. Furman or Mr. Chris over there. We are advanced. We got the next level. So that means like you can't just go around and like pick up random animals and just like start teaching about them, which would be really cool to do. But the thing about that is those are wild animals and not ambassadors. So can't do that. And then number 4, work with fellow environmental ambassadors to help improve the world. So the good thing about today is when you leave, you have a whole room of people who are just like you. So you are all friends. You all have the same certificate saying that you have earned this. And now you can look out for each other and be friends with each other, and you can talk about how cool you are for having the certificate. Sound cool? Cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pass this certificate out. You will sign at the bottom, making it official when I tell you to. So before, we'll say, I pledge, and we'll do a pledge, and then you'll sign at the bottom, and then you'll be official. Sound good? Cool.
Great.
All right. There you go. Congratulations.
It's like the pledge, yeah.
Congratulations.
All right. All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations. Come here. Congratulations. Very proud of you. Congratulations. I'm coming back. 1 second.
He said 1 second.
1 second. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, good job.
All right.
Cool. All right. So, as new ESP beginner environmental ambassadors, you have to say the pledge. So, everybody raise your right hand. Say, I will always love animals. I will always love to teach people about animals.
Yeah.
And I will always respect people, nature, and animals.
Respect people, nature, and animals.
Congratulations.
Yay! Woo! All right.
All right. Now, with graduation, we need to take a quick picture if that's cool with everybody. Is that cool with everybody?
Yes, sir. Sure.
So, we'll come get some cool pictures of everybody with their
Absolutely.
certificate. Thank you all for listening.
Hey, let's thank Mr. Daniel one time. Huh? How about that? Oh, man, that's great. Did a great job.